Chapter 2. The end is near. Jack opened his eyes. He pushed his glasses into place. 이건 안경을 제자리에 딱 이렇게 한 거예요. Morgan was gone. And so were Jack's jeans, t-shirt, sneakers, and backpack. Instead, 대신에 he had on a white tunic with a belt, sandals that laced up, and a leather bag. He looked at Annie. She was dressed the same way. Morgan had made them look just like keys in an ancient Roman town. I guess this is what Morgan meant, said Jack. When she said she'd helped us blend in. I feel like Cinderella, said Annie. I like these clothes. Yeah, said Jack, although he felt a little as if he was wearing a dress. 약간 드레스를 입고 있는 것 같은 느낌이 들었대요. Annie looked out the window. It's pretty here, she said. Jack looked with her. They had landed in a grove of trees. On one side of the grove rose a gentle-looking mountain. On the other, a town sparkled in the sunlight. I wonder where we are, said Jack. He opened a book about Roman times. He read aloud. Almost 2,000 years ago, on August 24th, AD 79, the seaside town of Pompeii was a typical Roman town. Many Romans went there on their vacation. They built large houses called villas, planted groves of olive trees along the slopes of a mountain called Mount Vesuvius. Vesuvius. Yes, that's the mountain name. Annie kept looking out the window as Jack pulled out his notebook and pencil. He wrote, Vacation in Pompeii, August 24th, 1879, houses called villas. Jack looked out the window again. It does look like a nice place to go on vacation, he said. We must have landed in one of the olive groves, said Annie. Yeah, that town must be Pompeii, said Jack. He looked in the opposite direction, 반대 방향, and that mountain must be Mountain Vesuvius. Annie shivered. The name sounds scary, she said. Really? Said Jack. Not to me. He looked down at his notes. Hey, did you feel that? Said Annie. What? Jack looked up. The ground shook. I heard it rumble too, said Annie. 땅이 흔들리고 rumble 소리가 그러니까 흔들리는 소리가 들렸대요. Jack frowned. Frowned는 얼굴을 찡그렸어요. I think you were just dreaming again, he said. No, I wasn't, said Annie. Something feels wrong about this place. I really think we should go home now. Are you nuts? Said Jack. We have to find that lost story for Morgan. Besides, 게다가 I've always wanted to see a Roman town. He threw his notebook and the Roman book into his letter bag. Then he went down the rope ladder. Come on, he called when he stepped onto the ground. And he just stared down at him. 쳐다봤어요. Don't be chicken. 이거는 겁쟁이처럼 굴지 마. 이런 뜻이야. He said. He pushed his glasses into place. Come on, it'll be fun. And he still didn't move. What's wrong with her? Jack wondered. Usually, I'm the worried one. Come on, he pleaded. We can't let the Morgan down. 실망시킬 수 없어. 이런 뜻이에요. Annie let out a big sigh. 한숨을 후 쉬면서 Okay, but we'd better find that story fast, she said. Finally, she climbed down the rope ladder. The sun was bright and hot as they took off. 출발했어요. Between the olive trees. With Mountain Vesuvius at their backs, they headed for the town of Pompeii. That's weird, said Annie. 이상하다. I don't hear any birds. She was right. The grove was strangely silent. So these are the olive trees. And then it's very quiet somehow. Don't worry about it, said Jack. Maybe they're all at the beach. Come on, let's go over that bridge. He led the way to a small wooden bridge that crossed a narrow stream. stream은 계곡으로 아주 작은 narrow 좁은 계곡으로 갔대요. But when they got to the stream, they found it had dried up. 계곡이 dried up 했어. No water. That's really weird, said Annie. Don't worry, said Jack. It just means there hasn't been much rain. They crossed the bridge and stepped onto a busy street. It was paved with stone. pave는 포장된 거예요, 돌로. People were buying things in the open shops that lined the street. Some looked rushed and busy. Others moved slowly. Kids walked with their parents. Groups of teenagers talked and laughed. They don't seem very different from people shopping in Frog Creek, Jack thought. Except for the clothes, of course. How will we ever find the ancient lost library? Said Annie, glancing around. 이렇게 둘러봤어요. I don't know, said Jack. Just be on the lookout. They walked past the shops that had huge jars in them. When Jack looked closely, he saw that they were filled with grain, 곡물, dried fruit, and olives. Meat hung from the ceilings. 고기가 천장 of some of the stores 걸려 있었어요. hung. They passed a noisy tavern where people were eating and drinking. A young man played a stringed instrument. 그 현악기. See, there's nothing to worry about, said Jack. This place isn't all that different from our time. It's not that, said Annie with worry. See, there's a barber shop and shoe shop, said Jack, pointing. A boy was getting his hair cut by the barber. A girl was trying on a new pair of sandals with her mother. It is kind of like home, Annie agreed. They kept walking, 계속해서 걸어갔어요. Until, 언제까지? They passed a bakery filled with freshly baked flat bread. The bread is like pizza, said Annie, smiling. Yeah, said Jack. The good smells from the bakery made him feel even more at home. Jack looked at Annie. She was still smiling as they walked on. Soon they came to a large square filled with people, carts and horses, and more shopping stalls. Honey, cakes, stuffed dates. dates는 대추예요. Peacock eggs, Sally's called. Farmers were selling grapes, garlic, and onions. Fishermen were selling all kinds of fish. A few people stood on boxes, giving speeches to small crowds. Hey, I bet this is a forum, said Jack. He reached in his bag for his book. He flipped through it until he found a picture of the square. 광장이에요, 광장. He read, the center of a Roman town was called a forum. The forum was the main place where people met to sell goods and discuss politics. 정치도 얘기 나누고 물건들도 파는 광장을 forum이라고 했대. I was right, said Jack. He pulled out his notebook. He wrote forum, center of town. 중심. Jack, whispered Annie. Jack! She tugged on his tunic. Look, tunic은 옷이죠. 옷. Jack glanced up. Annie nodded toward an old woman who was staring straight at them. She wore a black cloth. Her gray hair was tangled. 막 엉켜 있었어. Wild. She seemed to be missing her teeth. 이빨도 빠져 있고. The woman pointed a bony finger. bony는 약간 뼈가 앙상한 손가락을 가리켰어요. Jack and Annie. The end is near. 종말이 다가왔다. 이런 거. She said in a raspy voice, Go home, strangers. Yikes, said Annie. We better get away from her, said Jack, before people wonder who we are. He put away his notebook, then he and Annie hurried away. The old woman crackled behind them.